have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, welcome back to the Genesis Frequency Podcast. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna coming at you. And today I want to jump right in and talk about something that has the power to change every area of your life. Not just your career, not just your goals, but your sense of fulfillment, your sense of meaning, direction, and purpose. And it's been a while since I talked about this, quite some time, and we don't talk about it enough here. And I want to talk about finding your North Star. I love this concept, and it shouldn't be something new to you, but maybe it is, depending on where you are on your personal and professional development journey. You see, most people have goals, hopefully. There's a lot of people that don't. So, come on into the fold. You're in good hands here with our group. But, there's a lot of people that do have goals. A lot of people that listen to this show anyway, they're on that path of goal achievement. And, many people have dreams. A lot of people have put the dreams up on the shelf and said, well, my time is past, or maybe for others, but not for me. Life got in the way and my dreams are simply dreams up on the shelf. But some people have goals. Some people have dreams. Some people even have maybe they have a plan in place. But relatively very, very few people have taken the time to discover and define their life purpose. And I talk to people all the time that, I don't know. And when life becomes difficult, and it will, goals alone, those dreams alone, are often not enough to keep us moving forward. But purpose is. Purpose becomes the deeper reason behind the goal. Purpose becomes the fuel that keeps you going when motivation fades. Purpose becomes the compass that helps you navigate life when the road ahead is uncertain, when it's rocky, when it's filled with potholes, right? And you relate. And that's why I often say goals tell you where you're going. Purpose tells you why you're going there. So you really want to always define your why whenever you're working on your goals, your next set of goals, what you're working on now, the direction you're moving in. Why do you want to go there? And that why is going to drive you. And that distinction, goals telling you where you're going and purpose telling you why you're going there, that distinction can change everything. We'll talk about that in this episode. Goals are important, but they're not enough. That's the whole point of this. So before we go any further, I want to be clear on that. I believe in goals. I'm all about goal achievement. That's the work I do. I do goal achievement, quantum leap goal achievement for individuals, small businesses, corporations, teams, you name it. All the programs I do focus on goal achievement. So I absolutely believe in goals. Heck, my company is the copyright holder of the SMART goals. I bet you didn't know that, right? Well, I probably mentioned it before. But I believe in goals. I've spent years teaching goal achievement, years and years. I've built businesses around helping people set goals, clarify goals, achieve goals. Not just people, but corporations, teams, culture. It's all about changing patterns, changing habits, changing the mindset, achieving the goals. Goals matter. They give us targets, they give us direction, focus, measurement, but goals alone are not enough because goals can be achieved. And when they're achieved, well, then what? You do become a goal achievement machine, but mm, then what? Many people spend years chasing a goal only to discover that reaching it didn't provide the fulfillment they expected. They thought, oh, if I just get the promotion, if I just make more money, if I just lose the weight, if I just buy the house, if I just retire, then everything would fall into place. But often it doesn't because achievement without purpose can leave us feeling, strangely empty. Purpose is different. A goal is a destination. Purpose is a direction. A goal may last a year, right? Depending on what it is. If you have a big dream goal, there might be a long time stamp on it. Purpose may guide an entire lifetime, though. A goal can be completed. We want to achieve that goal. Purpose continues unfolding. Think about your own life. You may have had goals that were accomplished years ago, right? Yet the deeper reason behind those goals may still be active today. That's purpose. That's your North Star. So, what is this? What is all this? What if this is new to you? You might be asking, what is a life purpose? And last episode, I shared a little bit about personal responsibility from Jack Canfield's work in the Success Principles, and pulling from that, Jack defines purpose as using your unique gifts, your talents, skills, experiences, and passions to make a positive impact in the world. And you know what? I like that definition because purpose isn't merely about what you do. It's about who you are becoming while doing it. Purpose is not merely a job title. It's not a business card. It's not a position. Purpose is the expression of your highest values through your life. And you know what? Purpose answers questions like, why am I here? What contribution am I meant to make? What kind of impact do I want to leave behind? What matters most? Now, I want you to notice something important here. Purpose is bigger than employment. You can live your purpose as a teacher, a parent, an entrepreneur, a volunteer, a minister, a coach, a business owner, any number of different things. Purpose transcends the specific vehicle through which it is expressed. All right. So wherever you are, I mean, that's why people can change careers and still remain connected to the same purpose. What you're doing may be, there may be an illusion of separateness, but you still want to be on purpose. I mean, the vehicle changes, is what I'm trying to say. The vehicle changes, purpose remains. And I really like to look at this. Thank you, Shane Kreider. Purpose is your North Star. I was introduced to this a long time ago, back in 2013, the concept of the North Star. Shane Kreider, thank you. Think of a ship navigating across the ocean, okay? The captain may change course, Just for weather, avoid obstacles, right? Take detours, maybe around storms. You know. But the North Star remains constant, doesn't change. It provides orientation, it provides direction, reference. Likewise, your goals may change over time, and they do. You should accomplish a goal. Think, hey, I'm good at this. I figured out how to do this. I figured out how to work with the science of goal achievement and apply the universal laws to my life and cooperate with them. And just, I am a goal achievement machine. But your goals change over time. Life circumstances may change. You may discover new opportunities. If you are magnetizing your condition, new opportunities will arise for you, will move into your field of experience. New passions, new challenges. But your purpose remains the guiding principle beneath it all. Without that guiding principle, it's easy to drift. It's easy to become distracted. It's easy to spend years climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall, so to speak, right? Purpose keeps us aligned. Purpose helps us know when we're on track. And purpose helps us know when we've wandered away from what truly matters, right? What truly matters. So I want you to think of your joy. Your joy, one of the highest vibrations we can move into. Your joy is really your internal compass. Okay, as you think about this, one of the most powerful ideas in Jack Canfield's work is that joy serves as an internal guidance system, an inner compass, right? Your GPS, a feedback mechanism. Now, joy isn't the same as constant happiness. Life, life contains challenges, right? And growth, especially on this path, growth often requires discomfort. I'm feeling a lot of that lately with getting the clinic open and all of that goes along with that, plus doing the personal and professional development work. But growth often requires discomfort. Purpose does not eliminate effort. Be clear on that. Purpose does create alignment. When you're living in alignment with your deepest values and gifts, there's often an underlying sense of rightness, a feeling that says, this matters. This is this is meaningful. This is where I am supposed to be. Now, you may still work hard. You may still encounter obstacles. You're certainly going to experience challenges, but the work feels worthwhile. You feel good about it. It's like rowing downstream rather than upstream. Effort's still required, right? But you're moving with the current rather than against it. That is often one of the clues that you're moving closer to purpose. You're moving with the current. So, how about looking back for clues? One of the best ways to discover your purpose is to look backwards, so to speak, not to live in the past, but to gather clues. Did you leave a trail for yourself, right? Is there any breadcrumbs back there? Look at the rearview mirror. Ask yourself, and again, we're not living in the past. Ask yourself, when have I felt most alive? Really, what 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 did you do? What did you experience? What did you go through in your life that made you feel most alive? What Ask yourself, when have I felt most fulfilled? What experiences have brought me the greatest joy? What activities make me lose track of time? What people, or what do people, I should say, consistently seek my help with? Who's reaching out for you and asking your advice on something, what subject is that? What is it they're seeking that they want your help with? You want to ask, where have I naturally stepped into leadership or teaching, serving, creating, coaching, encouraging? These moments leave breadcrumbs. And if you pay attention, you may begin to notice recurring themes. For some people, it's teaching. For others, it's building. Others, it's healing. Others, it's inspiring. That's one thing for me. I could because I came right up to within hours of going through death's door, and then I pulled out. I put down my beer and my brandy and my nicotine and cigarettes and all that stuff and everything that went with it. And I said, no more. And pulled out the stuff that I read about over the years. I applied it to my life, started working with spiritual law, and really transformed my life. So I became about choosing life, really living life, and then living the life through love. And I mean sharing the love for life and what really works when it comes to our personal and professional transformation. That's it. For me, it's to be an inspiration. For others, it's creating beauty. Yeah, whatever it is, the specific expression varies, but the clues are usually there. If you look along your path of life and ask yourself some of these questions. Now, let's take a look at the difference between passion and purpose, right? Because many people confuse passion with purpose. They're related, right? They're related, but they're not identical, all right? Passion is often about what excites you. Purpose includes passion, but extends beyond it, all right? Passion is often about what excites you. Purpose includes passion, but extends beyond it. Purpose connects your passion to contribution. Purpose asks, how does what I love help other people? How does my passion create value? Hopefully, you're finding some value in this podcast. Many people put very or very little or no value on that which they get for free. Hope you're not one of those because there's tremendous value here. So, how does my passion, ask yourself that, how does my passion create value? How does my joy become service, even? Because some passions remain hobbies, and that's perfectly fine. But purpose often emerges when your gifts intersect with the needs of the world around you. It's where it's where meaning, contribution, and joy come together. So, if purpose is so powerful, why do so many people struggle to find it? Do you ask yourself that maybe? If purpose is so powerful, why do so many people struggle to find it? Because many people do. Man, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know. Feel like I'm just roaming around aimlessly with no purpose. I talk to people all the time, man. I get them to think about the goals, the dreams, the desires and aspirations they put up on their shelf. But when it comes to this, I don't know. What's your why? Why do you want to do that? I don't know. It'd be nice to have better health and lose some weight, have physical fitness, to find the caring relationship, or to have some time and money freedom. Yeah, that's your goal, right? What about purpose? If it's so powerful, why do people struggle to find it? Jack Canfield identifies two major obstacles when it comes to this. The first is certainty. Human beings love certainty, right? We like routines, predictability, familiarity, safety. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but certainty can indeed become prison, right? It can keep us in jobs we dislike, It can keep us in relationships we've outgrown. It keeps us, you know, in patterns that no longer serves us. It keeps us locked in the paradigms, the habitual behaviors, the programming that no longer serves us. And sometimes purpose requires stepping into uncertainty. Sometimes purpose requires courage. Sometimes purpose asks us to leave the familiar and explore something new. And that, my friends, can be uncomfortable. You know what? Growth, I say it all the time, and what we want almost always lives outside the comfort zone. I think it was the last episode. It goes around once in a while. That everything you want is in the cave you feared to enter. Growth almost always lives outside the comfort zone. Truly does. The second obstacle is limiting belief, right? The stories we tell ourselves. I'm too old. I'm not qualified. I'm not smart enough. I'm too late. Not ready. These stories, and that's what they are. They're stories. They're limiting beliefs. They become invisible walls. And often they're based on assumptions rather than reality. I need to do another one of those shows of people that have accomplished stuff at various ages in their life. But you know what? One of the most beautiful truths about purpose is that there's no expiration date. No expiration date. People discover new purpose at 30, 50, at 70, at 80. I've met individuals whose most meaningful contributions happened after retirement. Purpose is not reserved for the young. Purpose is available to anyone willing to listen. And you know what? Living with purpose creates energy. It does. Have you ever noticed how much energy people have when they're excited about something meaningful? Purpose generates energy. Purpose creates resilience. Purpose makes it easier to persevere through setbacks. Because when the reason is big enough, people find the strength to continue. Purpose transforms obstacles into challenges. Purpose transforms work into contribution. Purpose transforms effort into meaning. And meaning, it's one of the most powerful motivators known to humanity. It really is meaning. So why why purpose matters more than ever right now? I really believe this right now. Why purpose matters more than ever? Because you know what? We live in a world filled with distractions, notifications, right? Every 2 minutes, every 2 seconds, just about. There's a notifications, advertisements. How about advertise? Man, can they find another place to put an advertisement? I mean, they're crammed in everywhere, aren't they? Just vying for our attention. So notifications, advertisements, social media, right? Breaking news, breaking news. One of the networks, ever they open their news, breaking news right now. Oh, it's not. Well, yeah, it is, but maybe yours isn't. But constant noise, though, is what I'm talking about. Just always going on. Without purpose, man, it's easy to become reactive. I talk about reacting, knee-jerk reacting, the steel ball in the pinball machine, right? Without purpose, it's easy to become reactive, to spend our lives responding to whatever appears most urgent. It's urgent. Get to it. Purpose, though, helps us distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. Purpose helps us make decisions. Purpose helps us set priorities. Purpose helps us remain focused. And I'm telling you, in a distracted world, focus is a superpower. So I always like to give you an application and action, okay, for you to take with you beyond this podcast, because I'm looking at my timer here and I realized that it's time to wrap this thing up. So as we conclude and wrap this episode up today, I want to leave you with a question. Um, Not what are your goals? And I've said that till I'm blue in the face. What are your goals? What are the dreams you put up on the shelf? So today I'm not asking that. Hopefully you're at that place where you know what your goals are. Halfway through the year here, right? What's your goal for this year? Right. But that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, what is your North Star? What is your North Star? What deeper purpose guides your decisions? What contribution do you want your life to make? What kind of world would you like to help create? Because when you discover your purpose, goals become easier to choose. Really, think about that. When you discover your purpose, goals become easier to choose. Which way am I going here? Decisions become easier to make, and life begins to feel more intentional. Purpose doesn't remove all uncertainty, but it gives direction in the midst of uncertainty. It becomes the compass that guides the journey. And we're not going to wrap it. This isn't going to be the end here because I got so much more just dropping in here as inspiration. Next week, we're going to go even deeper in this. We're going to explore how to actually create your own life purpose statement. All right. Because you got to do that. And in fact, it's in so many of the programs I facilitate. So I'll give you a little guidance here. We're going to actually talk about how to create your own life purpose statement and begin putting words around the deeper mission that guides your life. So until then, spend some time reflecting. Look for the clues. Look for those breadcrumbs. Notice what brings you joy. Pay attention to what gives your life meaning and begin listening. Begin listening to that quiet inner voice that has been pointing you toward your purpose all along. Maybe it's buried in there with the voice that's always talking about your longing and discontent that lingers there. Maybe it's within that, but begin to listen to that inner voice. And I'm telling you, there's probably no better time to reach out and have a conversation with me than now. I know there isn't. We can talk about you, where you're going, your direction, what you want to accomplish in your life, what your dreams and goals are, help you define this life purpose. Get involved in one of the programs I facilitate. Let's do this thing. Let's turn you into a goal achievement machine that does things on purpose. Reach out to me, Success Appointment. That's my calendar, not a sales page. Success Appointment. It opens up in your time zone. You pick a time to have a conversation with me, and we just talk about life and living and what your dreams are. So do that. SuccessAppointment.com. For now, that's going to do it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast with me, Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, and I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you. We'll see you next time.